Hello and welcome to the Magic Mirror Podcast. I'm your host, as usual, Khan the Trinket Mage, and with me is my co-host, 33 Elk.
Hello.
Additionally, we have our other co-host, Salubrious Snail.
Hello.
And we're back after a holiday break, because this will come out, I guess, after the holidays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Happy Kwanzaa. That will still be going on by the time this video is live.
This is true. We'll get it out in time for Kwanzaa.
This is our Kwanzaa special.
And if this video does happen to come out during the holidays, you should probably go back into the other room with your family.
That is true. Or ignore them, That's like not our prerogative.
Yeah. Anyway, since it is the holiday season, we're going to be talking about giving the gift of things in the game to your opponents. We're going to talk about cards that give things to your enemies and how you can leverage those, use those, political ways to utilize those cards, why we do or don't like some of those.
Just like any good holiday gathering, we're getting political.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you meant there are some bad gifts. That too, you can, the audience can put whatever their worst gift they received in the comments below. That'll be fun. And after that, we'll do some questions from the previous episode. I want to start off by talking about how I use cards like this. I'm personally not a huge fan of just like a deck of just giving things to your opponents and like not thinking about it any further. That would be like group hug. Personally, not really what I'm interested in. I like to make political deals out of these. Hey, I'll give you this if you attack someone else. I'll give you this if you remove their doodad, blah, blah, blah. Stuff like that, as opposed to just giving favors. I don't know. Are you guys the same?
I would say I mostly align with that thinking. There is a strategic element to it, which is what I really enjoy about politicsy cards, which is like, I'm going to scratch your back, you're going to scratch mine, right? Like that's the joke, is that there's an even trade. I give you a card, you don't turn me into a fine red mist, right? Like there's a trade-off always, I feel, when it comes to political cards. You're never just like, here, have a treat, right?
I'm almost the opposite. I enjoy, to be clear, sometimes I will make a deal out of something, but other times I enjoy being like, hey, I have a gift for you. Usually it's, something I'm giving to the weakest opponent, so I don't have to feel bad about it, and then there may be more on my side, but I enjoy when I get to be the benevolent guy and be seen as a very thoughtful, friendly guy rather than, the political conniver who's trying to, sway you with my words.
See, this is the funny thing too, is like a stronger fourth opponent can be actually beneficial to you though when it comes like to taking down an arch enemy or something. So like feeding someone cards who is stumbling can be an ally in the future against someone who is doing it better than both of you combined.
Sure.
And I think the trick to utilizing these is having real value in the deal. So if you are just conniving and tricking people all the time, people don't want to take your deals. So if they're like, yeah, I'll take 5 creatures, and then you just board wipe immediately afterwards, then they're like, well, I'm not doing that again because you just board wiped. I don't want the creatures anymore. They're useless. And I'm not saying that you should never make a deal like that or blah, 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 but like the way to make these more useful is over time. When you make these deals and you give them, the 5 creatures, they actually get to use them to hit somebody else and like get value from it, and then they're more likely to take your deals in the future.
You got to build up some credibility with the table.
Yes, exactly. Should we get into some examples? I kind of want to talk about a new one that hasn't even come out yet.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm very interested in this card. It is from the Marvel superhero set, which will come out in like 6 months or something. So we have the Sentry Golden Guardian. It is 3 and a white for a 5/5 legendary creature human hero. It has flying, vigilance, and indestructible, so pretty above rate for a 4-drop. But when it enters, target opponent creates the Void, which is a legendary 5/5 black horror villain creature with flying and indestructible. And the Void attacks each combat if able. So because Sentry has vigilance, you can always attack, and then you can always block the Void as well, which is kind of neat. But if you give this to one opponent and both agree to attack the person in first place, who's ahead, that's 10 flying indestructible damage at once, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, that has great gang up potential.
Yeah, there's a whole cycle of these kinds of cards too. Like Hunted Horror comes to mind. That's the 7/7 for 2 black mana. that makes an opponent 2/3/3 green centaurs, and then you just go, let's kill the control player, and you just start kicking the shit out of them, right?
Yeah, I love Hunted Horror. I've played that in my Sig deck, and it's so sweet. I mean, it's a 2-mana 7/7 with trample, right?
Yeah.
Which is crazy. And then if you can just convince someone to attack someone else with those 2/3/3s, like you just put so much power on the board, and you can beat up the control players so fast. The whole hunted cycle, I'm a big fan of. Hunted Phantasm is fun. It's like a 4/6 unblockable for 3. And then one player gets 5 1/1 goblins, which is a lot of goblins. But, if you can convince them to attack someone else, it's pretty sweet.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the cycle of cards. I like the political play of it. I think my favorite thing about them is when you're just like, we need to kill this dude. But there's another use case too, which is like, if you give them a bunch of goblins and then you just like massacre word them or punish them for having a wide board, right? Like there's ways to like weave these directly into a Punisher effect, which is always super funny.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the traditional use of those cards, right? Like when I first learned about them and heard about them being used in decks, I feel like it was alongside cards to either make opposing creatures irrelevant or to punish opposing creatures in some way. This is a 1v1 formats, obviously. I feel like the political implication is the one that's kind of new to Commander.
If you play Hunted Phantasm with like Knight of Souls Betrayal, that gives all creatures -1/-1, you'll just like kill all the goblins instantly. But I do like the idea of just blinking it, giving someone like 20 goblins and then like disrupt decoruming and then goading them all. I think I've mentioned this on the podcast at some point, but I've always wanted to make like a 5-color deck with all the hunted cards. And then you just like flicker them a bunch and like give things to people.
Yeah. Do you start Rakdos charming everyone is my main question. Blood Tracker.
Oh, come on. Of course we're Rakdos charming everybody. It's so awesome.
I like Rakdos Charm a lot better than I like something like a Bloodseeker. Bloodseeker? Is that what it is?
It's Bloodseeker or Blood Tracker, Suture Priest, these kinds of effects that drain your opponent whenever a creature enters for them.
Oh, is it Bloodseeker? I thought you were just getting confused with Dota.
That's why I questioned myself.
Okay, Blood Tracker's the one that draws for +1/+1 counters. Bloodseeker is what we're talking about.
We are talking about Bloodseeker.
Thank you, Snail.
Yes.
I'm sure Yusuf will put Bloodseeker on screen for other Dota fans.
Yeah, please do. I like the immediate ones more than I like the overtime ones, just because I feel like there's something kind of boring when I see somebody make like creatures for opponent's engine and then like thing that compounds that and then another thing that compounds that, just like, picking a synergy thing and then just like every turn you put on a new permanent that compounds it. It's just something a little bland, and a good Rakdos Charm to deal 18 damage out of nowhere is a little spicier. Comes with a little more zing.
I also like Coat of Arms because Coat of Arms works for everybody. So if you give someone 5 goblins with Hunted Phantasm, it's a lot of power on the board. And if you can convince them to swing that, was that 25 power at somebody?
Well, you don't even convince them. Just play Cardoor Doomscourge. Make them do it.
Exactly. Look, I want to make this deck at some point. It sounds really stupid though. There's 5-color goad with all of the hunted cards. Other than Hunted Wumpus, I'm not a huge fan of that one because you can't target an opponent. It's each opponent puts a creature into play, so it's less political.
Isn't there a new Wumpus that does it? Wumpus Apparition? Target opponent may put a creature card from their hand on the battlefield. Yeah, Modern Horizons 3 has your back.
Oh, my favorite set.
Your savior, the Modern Horizons set, here to fix EDH.
My favorite Commander set.
This is factually, according to you, the best designed card in Modern Horizons 3.
You know what? I'll just say that.
If we want to move on talking about some more of these kinds of cards, like you can give people creatures in play. That's what my Farrakha deck's all about.
Can I mention one more?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Gotta mention Life of the Party.
Oh yeah.
So Life of the Party, if you want a goofy card for your next Commander night, holy, this is the right card for you. It's a 4-mana 0/1 red elemental with first strike, trample, haste. When it attacks, it gets +X+0, where X is the number of creatures you control. And then when it enters, if it's not a token, every opponent gets one that is goaded for the rest of the game. So they're really good for attacking. They're really bad on defense because they're 0/1s. And on attack, they have power and then first strike, trample. It's such a sweet card, and it does a lot of damage. Like, the Life of the Parties often result in like 7, 8, 10-point life swings here and there. It's pretty nuts. Another hunted style card that I like.
Yeah, that card is actually super cracked too because it can't block the other ones really well. Like you can block it once, but you still take all the trample damage and then you just lose your Life of the Party. So you're really unincentivized from blocking with it as a person getting one.
Unless you want to lose your Life of the Party. I don't know.
I guess so.
True.
It depends on what your goal is with your deck, whether you want to be hitting people with creatures or whether you're putting together some fiddly engine.
But yes, you can gift opponents creatures, but I'm going to be talking a little bit about gifting your opponent's mana. There are some cards out there like Victory Chimes and stuff like that where it says tap, target player makes a mana. But I'm going to actually more just vouch for Arbor Elf. Arbor Elf is a 1-mana, 1/1 green elf druid, and you can tap him to untap target forest. Now, if you're running Yavimaya, now everyone has forests. The reason why I like Arbor Elf the most of these, like there's Voyaging Satyr, which does this for 2 mana for any land. But the reason why I like Arbor Elf the most is because it's just de facto the best one in my mind, where it's just like, I'm dropping this for 1 mana. It's still very good for my deck. I'm not sacrificing a lot by playing it. But then I'm able to, if I have Yavimaya in play, or if you're just a green player, I can just untap your land if you need that extra mana to board wipe this turn when we really need it, or something like that. Like, you're able to gift people mana with Arbor Elf, and I don't think a lot of people really see it as that. They more see it as like, I'm going to stack 17 auras on this one land and it taps for 1 billion, right? Which is, of course, a very good way to use Arbor Elf, but it does have the second mode of being a very group huggy card.
I don't think I've ever seen anyone use Arbor Elf in that way, actually. That's really interesting.
I haven't either.
But it does say target forest, so yeah. I do want to give a small shout out to Victory Chimes. I used to kind of think this card was just whatever, pretty bad. But I do think it has some more usage in control decks than I thought. Because if you want to use interaction on player A's turn, if you use your Victory Chimes to help pay for that interaction, then on player B's turn, it untaps and you can use that interaction again. That is actually kind of neat for just a control deck.
Yeah, we also got Bender's Waterskin, which doesn't gift the mana to any one of your choice, but it does untap every untap step like Victory Chimes does for a 3-mana rock. I really like these in activated ability decks. So if you have an activated ability that needs some amount of colorless to pay for it, Victory Chimes is really good. Because you just go okay, every turn it costs 1 less effectively because the Victory Chimes untaps itself.
Yeah, and the Waterskin's even better for that. I mean, it doesn't have the political aspect, but because it taps for a color, it's really good for counter magic or any other interaction like that. But that's not a political card.
What about you, Stan? Do you have a political card you want to talk about a little bit?
Talk about the techniques. These are demonstrate cards. I don't know if they've printed other demonstrate cards. I don't think they have.
There's been a couple times where it's been mentioned, but yeah, this is the first cycle of them.
Okay.
The 12th Doctor can give anything demonstrate, right?
Oh, yeah.
The first spell you cast from anywhere other than your hand?
Yeah, there's also Silver Quill Lecturer. The creature spells you cast have demonstrate as well. So there's a couple new mentions of it, but the techniques are the original 5-color cycle of this.
Yeah, demonstrate cards are cards that allow you to copy them when you cast them if you also give a copy to an opponent. So I run Creative Technique in one of my decks. That one makes you shuffle your library, then you reveal cards until you reveal a non-land card. You exile it and can play it without paying its mana cost. And then you can demonstrate it, which would mean that an opponent also gets that effect and you get 2 total of that effect. This is, I think, very fun. One, because you can kind of think about what opponent is going to have the most or least impact from the card. Sometimes there will be an opponent who just doesn't run a lot of high cost stuff. Other times you do want to have something more impactful. If I have a scary opponent and I have the dinosaur player who I'm trying to work with to take down that opponent, yeah, you can have some technique. And I just enjoy this. It rarely feels like my opponent gets more value than me, so it never feels bad for me. And it also, either builds a little bit of goodwill with somebody or can be used kind of tactically to take down another player. So I enjoy these a lot. Excavation Technique is a really interesting one that I have experimented with a little bit. That's one that removes things. Although I think that one, the fact that it's a sorcery limits it a little bit.
Yeah, destroy target non-land permanents, its control makes you treasures decent. It's very flexible, right? Non-land permanents, a lot of things, but sorcery speed for 4 mana is
yeah. If you can talk your opponent into removing a thing you want removed, potentially removing 3 things is meaningful, but it's still
3 non-land permanents is pretty big. But if you all target the same person, they get 6 mana out of it. I'll just recover.
The big thing with these, the reason why stuff like Incarnation Technique, which I think is one of the best of them, is so strong, despite this being a symmetrical effect, is because you built your deck around it, right? When you Incarnation Technique and you target the Spell Slinger player, they might get back a Goblin Electromancer or something, but you're getting back Valgavoth and some other big monster. The Incarnation Technique, of course, being the mill 5 and then reanimate something card. So when you Replication Technique, choose the White Weenie player with all the small little dorks in play, they copy a stupid little idiot, and then you copy your Sphinx of the Second Sun 2 times. Since you built your deck around these effects, giving away one doesn't hurt as bad because most of them are relatively narrow. Like Creative Technique shines in a deck that is mostly high mana value stuff. Well, outside of like Legacy, but we don't worry about Legacy here. Legacy Creative Technique was a really funny deck. Anyway, that's the gist, is I feel like if you've built your deck around these cards, you're always going to get more value out of them than your opponent, even if they are symmetrical. And that goes for any symmetrical card.
Yeah, I've won many a game with Replication Technique in like control decks. Because there's a lot of times where like you've cast a board wipe and somebody stumbled. They don't really have a good permanent in play. So I'm like, okay, Replication Technique, I'll demonstrate it targeting you. You can make another mana rock. I'll make 2 Shark Typhoons. And now I have 3 of those in play, and I'm just going to like swarm the board and like obliterate you.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like if you have the better permanence or the better synergy with the card, then giving one to your opponent's never that big of a deal.
I mean, it's like Stacks in that way, right? Stacks is like a negative effect for everybody, but you've built around it. So you're less affected by the negative effect. So it's net value for you. Whereas this is a positive effect for you and someone else. But the positive effect for you is significantly higher, so it's still worth playing.
I mean, in theory, I feel like that should be the optimal choice for group hug card. Is it's a card where you are getting more benefit out of it than your opponents, even if your opponents are getting some value. Although I guess maybe, does it go against the ethos of group hug if you're actually using it in a way that is tactical or positive?
That's when we've fallen into the realm of politics. I like to think there's a strong divide between a politics deck and a group hug deck, right? Mm-hmm. Group hug, I feel, is like hugging everyone, hooray. Politics is a lot more like Miss Bumbleflower, where they kill your ass, you know? They're giving you cards for a reason because you're the person who's going to die next. Right.
But why is that a distinction? Is it because group hug is a bad word? Like,
yes,
we're trying to
100%.
We're trying to put them in their own little corner.
I feel like the distinction is like a genuine true group hug deck with no win condition is playing a very different game than everyone else, right? If your actual literal goal is not to win in any capacity.
Yeah, not being a sarcastic fellow, by the way. It's not so much in that group hug is a bad word, but a lot more that there are people out there that are just like, listen, Commander is Mario Party. I'm going to show up every weekend. I'm going to, just jerk everyone off at the table. And that's fine.
I need Yusuf to animate that.
No, don't animate that, Yusuf. There's just people out there that want to do that. And that's fine. I don't want to play with you per se. But if your table likes that, that's great. There's plenty of people out there who scream, second place is my first place. Woo, group hug. And then they just help the table explode. That's not really my cup of tea. I like it when, no one is like accelerating the game because it helps certain decks more than others. But we can get into, I think we've gotten plenty into like the philosophy of group hug before. Great if you love playing with it. Not for me, but there's definitely a distinction there where a group hug player isn't trying to win in my mind, but a politics player, like there's a reason for that distinction. I feel there's value to be had.
I get the difference in mindset kind of pointing at. I just wanted to poke at the subject a little.
No, it's a good thing to poke at.
I've been thinking about brewing around Iroh Tea Master as a politics commander. I don't know if you have seen this. He's from the new Avatar set.
Yeah, what does it do for the audience?
A Boros and 1 for a 2/2 human citizen ally. When Iroh enters, you make a food token. And then at the beginning of combat on your turn, you may have target opponent gain control of target permanent you control. When you do, you make a 1/1 white ally, and then you put a 1/1 counter on that token for each permanent you own that opponents control.
Ooh.
So is this Boros John Arenicus?
Kind of, yeah. So there's a few ways to go for. So there's a few ways you can go with cards like this, right? So enchantments that affect everybody, you can just pass them along. That's actually kind of like the stacks route, right? You can give someone a winter orb. It doesn't really matter who has it. The effect is the same. If you wanted to go that route, or you just keep giving people the allies that it makes every turn, and then each ally is bigger, and you just goad them afterwards, or do red shenanigans to make them hard to block. And
yeah, you can give tokens away too.
Yeah, so you just give away the token. Each time you give away the token, it gets bigger, and then you play like Duelist Heritage to make them give them double strike, and then you Bloodthirsty Blade the biggest one, and then it swings in with double strike and you just slam somebody. It's kind of funny. No?
Yeah, I was thinking more like a fling angle, because these things grow for things you've given away, and then you just find all the cards that give away a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, he's a really interesting commander. I think there's a lot of different routes you can go. I've thought about just Boros Enchantress, where you play enchantment effects that you want to have in play, and then you just keep giving them to people. Of course, you can give somebody 9 lives and then or aggressive mining and they'll lose to it or whatever, you know?
That's what I was thinking.
That's always my least favorite kind of deck is like a bad gifts deck, because like if your bad gifts commander gets exploded, like you're playing Blim or something, then your deck is just worthless.
Yeah, that is the big problem with all those types of things. But he's kind of an interesting card. There's some value to be had with Humble Defector.
Oh yeah, for sure. There's also Yes Man.
Yeah, you get Yes Man, you get Humble Defector, you get Karn the Betrayer. Lots of random weird stuff. And then you can play stuff like Brand. So if they're about to lose, you can grab all your stuff back.
Oh yeah, true. Homeward Path, the GOAT. Moving on, I suppose I should talk a little bit about some group hug removal. Not a category we've talked about so far. I love Kumbaj Witches. Oh my gosh. Nothing ruins an elf player's life more than these two human wizards. It is black for a 1/3 human wizard, and you can tap Kumbaj Witches, and it does 1 damage to any target of your choice, but then it also does 1 damage to any target of an opponent's choice. So what you do is you go like, hey, that Planeswalker has 2 loyalty, bud, want to team up? And then you both ping it, you and an opponent. Or you go like, hey, look at that 2 toughness creature, you both ping it. Or the elf player has 2 dorks in play, and you just go, want to plague win this guy? And then you tap it and kill the guy's board. This is the very worst. Huh, go ahead.
I was going to say, this is the worst Daichan Artful Beauty I've seen. Daichan Artful Beauty just taps to destroy target creature of your choice and destroy target creature of an opponent's choice. It's funny that the black one deals damage, but the red one's just a Doomblade.
That is really funny. But there is some upside here because Kumbaj Witches can't kill itself like Daichan can. Like your opponent's never going to go deal 3 damage because it has 3 toughness. And also on top of that, a big thing about Daichan is like people see it and they go, I need to blow that thing up now. Like, I don't want to be removaled by it versus this where it's like, oh, I get my Llanowar Elves pings. That's annoying. But it's not game-losingly bad if it untaps.
Put some boots on Daichan, she'll be fine.
My major point, though, is that Kumbaj Witches is black, which is good devotion for Grey Merchant of Asphodel.
True.
Finally, our Grey Merchant of Asphodel players can gain a little bit of life.
Oh, exactly. No, for sure, we need it.
I really like Council's Judgment as political removal. Because it's starting with you. It's a 3-mana sorcery, YY1. Starting with you, each player votes for a non-land permanent you don't control. And then you exile each permanent with the most votes, tied for the most votes. Very fun fact, this doesn't actually target in any capacity, so it can get around everything, basically.
Yeah, the good old True Name Nemesis legacy meta, where like you can't target True Name Nemesis, so everyone started putting Council's Judgment in their sideboard to exile True Name.
But it's all of the ones or the ones tied for the most votes. So depending on turn order and like who is where, sometimes you can get 2 things voted for and then 2 things get removed.
I gotta ask really quick, when was the last time you put like Vindicate in a deck? Or we're like, maybe Vindicate for this one?
Vindicate?
Yeah, 1 white, black.
It's been a hot minute. It's been a hot minute.
Would you describe Vindicate as like a bad card, though? Like if you saw it in a viewer deck, would you be like, Vindicate sucks?
If they're not playing Anguished Unmaking, then yeah, I'd be like, what is this Vindicate doing in here?
Well, my point here is at the very floor, you're the arch enemy, and everyone tries to vote against you to exile the least amount of permanents possible because they don't want to blow up any of their friends' things because currently they're 1v3ing you. This is at worst a Vindicate that exiles.
Well, but Vindicate, you choose the target. This one, they can choose the Llanowar Elves if they do it collectively.
Yes.
Oh, that is true. Yeah, no, you're right. So yeah, no, it isn't even a Vindicate. Terrible. So it does actually have a lower floor, which is actually has me worried now.
Lower floor, but so I've played Council's Judgment. I've never had it not do what I need it to do. Like if I'm in a situation where like in theory, yeah, I'm like the de facto threat at the table and I want to remove someone's permanent and no one else wants to remove that permanent and there's another random crappy permanent that they can all vote for collectively, that situation is possible. But otherwise, it's like gets around shroud, hexproof, everything removal spell, which is kind of neat.
See, this just makes me worried that you've been playing this exclusively in really dirtily controlled decks that people aren't worried about. And so that's why you've had a positive experience.
Like Heliod, for instance.
No. I've been playing it in really, really bad decks that nobody should be worried about. Like if you look at my win rate video or whatever, where I talk about the 100 games, Heliod went like 1 in 9.
That's pretty good.
People aren't voting for my stuff because my decks are ass. There's no reason to. Nothing in my Heliod deck is like nobody's ever. I'm not the arch enemy.
Yeah, my major concern is that I am the arch enemy quite frequently. I love building decks that like explode value onto the table and make me a threat. So like I'm always terrified of these kinds of cards where I'm like, oh, well, it's not going to do anything if I'm ahead, and I'm usually ahead because I like to build decks that are evil.
See, this is why this card works for me and now you, because I want to win with like the worst card imaginable. So my win condition is so bad that they never go, oh, I have to remove Khan's thing, because they're like, I have 50 turns, it's fine, you know?
Yeah, okay, true. Also, I do want to simultaneously say, I don't think Safara is that good of a win condition, right? It's a 7/7 flyer. Like, that's decent.
It kills you in 3 turns as your commander, right?
Yeah, exactly. But like, still, it's not like I'm rocking out with like Thassa's Oracle Demonic Consultation at bracket 3. I want to make that very clear for everyone.
Yeah. I just meant my win conditions are usually so abysmal that like most pre-cons can like overcome it if they just try.
Yeah.
I think I literally considered this card for my Brina deck. Because it's like, oh, that's a fun political commander. This is a fun political card. But it just doesn't work because Brina is too scary. My shit's too big. It will not pan out. My opponents are treating me as hostile.
Comments I wanna know. Council's Judgment. It was in an Outlaws of Thunder Junction Commander Precon, so I know someone has played it. Has this worked for you? Has this been garbage? Let me know. I'm curious.
Yeah, my major thing with Council's Judgment too is like, yeah, non-land permanent. Like, at what point is Grasp of Fate better as the first version of this effect? Right. For each opponent, when this enchantment enters, you exile up to 1 target non-land permanent that player controls until this one leaves the battlefield.
Grasp of Fate is a better Magic the Gathering card.
Okay, great. I'm just like glad that just got settled immediately.
I don't know what you want me to say.
But consider, it doesn't involve voting, and voting is fun.
Yeah, exactly.
Is voting that? Yeah, okay, just put it in Tivit. You're right. Do like an actual Tivit voting matters deck. Like, take time Civ out.
You play Illusion of Choice, and then you can force everyone to, you can exile 2 things. Exile 2 things.
Get an
No,
extra.
you
And
exile
draw a
4
card.
things. Wait, no, you exile 4 things because you have everyone vote for 1 thing, and they're all tied. So it's a 4 for 2, and then you draw cards. So like a 4 for 1.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Oh, the power. Okay.
Do you guys want to say anything more about political cards, or are we done yapping?
I mean, I kind of want to give one shout to my boy, the Ghost of Ramirez DePietro. Love this dude.
Political card?
Yes. Okay, so this is the big thing about the Ghost. I'll read him. So he's 2 and a blue for a legendary creature spirit pirate with partner. Can't be blocked by creatures with toughness 3 or greater. And whenever Ramirez DePietro does combat damage to a player, choose up to 1 target card in a graveyard that was discarded there or put there from a library this turn. Put that card into its owner's hand. It does not have to be your card. So if you have group mill where you like Hedron Crab everyone, and then you swing with the Ghost of Ramirez DePietro, you can be like, yeah, take that removal spell back. Blow up Johnny Dinosaurs over here with it. Right, so you can run all these like group mill cards that say each player mills X cards, each player mills this many cards, and then you go in with the Ghost of Ramirez DePietro, like you activate Gaia Reach Sanitarium, you give a person back the card they just discarded, right? So you can get really political with it, which is really funny.
I think I've never seen that come up with. I've run into this commander before. I've never noticed that it can do other people. That's really funny.
It's actually so fun, and I've done it plenty of times. There was a while where on online I was playing this deck. It was Tormod Ghost of Ramirez DePietro.
Oh hell yeah!
And I won't mill anything good. I'll mill like 3 lands, but I'll mill like a removal spell for an opponent. I'll just go, hey man, do you want to blow up this guy's thing with that? And they'll always go, yeah, because they want a free card.
Yeah, exactly. People do that all the time. It's like, it's free card advantage. It's so good.
So yeah, I love Ramirez DePietro for that kind of thing.
Actually, before we stop talking about political cards, I want to ask you about this debate and see when you guys land on this. Okay, so Eternal Witness. We know this card, right? Classic
Yes.
Eternal Witness. Green, 1, 2/1. Lets you return a doodad from your bin to your hand, right?
Mhm.
We all play this in some deck, right? I think.
Yes, 100%.
Probably.
Now, is it strictly worse than Skullwinder? Skullwinder is 2 and a green, so easier casting cost. For a 1/3 with Death Touch, much better body. And when it enters, return target card from your graveyard to your hand, and then you choose an opponent. That's not a May, you have to. That player returns a card from their graveyard to their hand. Now it is of their choice, not yours.
Yeah, no, this isn't strictly better, especially if you're doing like what I'm doing, which is creating horrific ephemerate and saw and half loops with Eternal Witness, because then you're literally turbo feeding your opponents instead of just kind of feeding them once or twice. I truly believe that Eternal Witness is a worse card than Regrowth unless you have some amount of creature synergy or blink synergy.
That's true, yes.
Skullwinder's okay, but like, and there will be situations, like I think if you have a deck where you have, I don't know, something that cares about Death Touch, or something that cares
Snakes.
about. Sure, snakes. I could see it, but I think the amount of times where you're going to get burned by an opponent returning something that's actually good is not that low. It's just not. It will happen.
You see, after one Bazooka Bog, you can turn this into an Eternal Witness.
Eternal Witness with Death Touch. 1/3 with Death Touch is significantly better than a 2/1 vanilla.
That is true, for sure. But it's just like, oh, giving my opponent a card to get an E-Wit. It's like, sure, that's fine in some situations. In fact, it's good in some situations, like the Ghost of Ramirez DePietro, where we're like, the only two things in their graveyard is removal spell, and you did like a turbo mill turn, right? But I don't know. I'm a bit wary of Skullwinder. Use it with caution. It's not as free as it looks.
Yeah, but it's got a cool snake on it, whereas Eternal Witness, that's like what, a green lady? That's crazy. It's not a snake.
Eternal Witness, there is one version that has a snake on it. It's the Secret Lair printing, I think.
Oh, true. I've been had.
Eternal Witness Prince. Let me look. No, it doesn't have a snake.
No, it doesn't have a snake. Never mind.
I thought for sure that one had a snake on it.
Skullwinder stays with it.
True. Yeah, no, you got me there. If you like snakes, if you need your snake per magic card to go up in your deck, Eternal Witness is worse than Skullwinder.
All right. Shall we get to some questions?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, moving on to the Beseech the Mirror section. This is where you beseech us for answers. All you got to do is put mirror, mirror in your comment, and we'll get to it, maybe, possibly, here. This one comes from Danny Cax, 4 numbers. Mirror, mirror, I sacrifice a blue creature to abjure my own brain geyser to ask, how are y'all doing? Just wanted to check in and hope your hopes and dreams are secure. I wanted to kind of just branch off from this question. It's going to be the end of the year, friends, right?
Yeah.
This is, this will, I guess, maybe come out very start of the new year. Do you guys have any goals for your channel, the podcast, anything that'd be interesting to talk about?
I got to beat you to 100K.
yeah, we're racing. We're racing to 100K. If I can beat you to 100K.
I'm not even in that race, sadly.
Come on, Elk. Get on it. Get on the grind set.
Elk, if you beat us to 100K, holy.
I will, listen, I'm going to say it's not impossible, but it is unlikely. I did gain somewhere in the ballpark of 25,000 subscribers this year. Something stupid. It's incredible, guys. Thank you so much, everyone. And then just like the podcast is also doing very well. Like it's crazy the year that we've had.
Yeah, thanks everybody for supporting us. I think it's been awesome.
Yeah, this year, 25K, yeah.
You just gotta quadruple that next year.
Exactly, no, for sure. I'm already at 2K right now.
Yeah, I saw. I've been creeping on your guys' channels because I gotta check in on the race.
My growth is insane. I really can't believe it.
I'm hoping on a few guests. Those are my goals. I don't want to say who yet, but I have a few goal guests in mind for the podcast.
Nice.
I'm trying to think of what goals I have. I think I want to definitely maybe start a second channel about D&D. I do want to get a kind of a litmus about like who would even be interested in that though, because that's actually what I used to do before Magic. I made a lot of D&D stuff, and I'm huge into RPGs and stuff. But besides that, possibly sprucing up the stream a little bit. I think I like the current formula, but I want to spruce it up a little bit more. Something more than just like a deck review.
I want to get my second channel monetized this year. I only put out one video last year, and I meant to do. My goal was to do one a month, and I did one in 7 months. So it was quite bad.
I set myself a goal to do one a month next year. We'll see if that pans out. It should.
Next year goal is honestly merch.
Merch is a good goal. Yeah, that's actually true.
In the comments, if you want to see Magic Mirror merch, like if you would want to get like an embroidered the little mirror on like a shirt or something or a hat or whatever, let me know in the comments below if you would pick up some Magic Mirror.
If you want to broadcast your bad takes live and loud to everyone around you, get some Magic Mirror merch. You know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in talks with some people, so you know, we'll end of year goal at least next year for real this time.
Right.
Okay, I thought this was kind of funny. So last podcast we were talking about at the very end of it stacking mechanics like double flying, and then it goes even higher. It has to be blocked by something with double reach.
If anything, that was like the pinnacle of our podcasting. I don't know if we'll have a better idea than that.
I'm surprised nobody mentioned double horsemanship. I wrote about it in the description of that podcast, and nobody mentioned that. But Mr. Malorian here asks, Mirror, mirror, I sacrifice my meld creature to ask, what are your thoughts on the monarchy stacking? The new monarch draws more and more cards.
Awful. No, do not do this. Please, I'm begging you.
So like when you play a card that gives you the monarch, if someone else is the monarch, there's just 2 monarchs. and then if somebody hits both of you, they become double monarch.
No, that sounds
And then
sick,
if you play
actually.
another card,
No, that sounds so good. Give it to me.
No. Guys, you don't understand. The monarchy is already turbo broken.
Okay,
it is.
And making it better is just like probably one of the worst ideas I've ever heard. It's making me physically ill imagining a palace jailer and oh my God, you can become the monarch on top of the monarch. So Custody Lich becomes better. The 5-mana one that says whenever you become the monarch, target player sacrifices a creature. And you just keep becoming the monarch by flickering it. And like you become like the quadruple monarch during a turn and you target player sacrifices 4 creatures. Please, no, don't do that.
And then
That
you
sounds
draw
great. That sounds
4
great.
cards.
But you turbo deck yourself. Okay, wait. So it's a downside because you end up decking yourself, which is of course a very good mechanic. That's how you know a card is well balanced, when you're like hoping and praying they deck themselves instead of winning normally.
So I think in EDH this will be fine because Monarch isn't broken in EDH. It's broken a lot of
Oh, yeah,
places, but not in EDH. So in EDH this is fine. There's so many broken
make it a rule
engines.
for EDH only. I'm down. EDH only. I'm down. I'm mainly worried for like Legacy.
yeah. Pauper.
Legacy and Pauper have me very worried.
Yeah. How about stacking initiative? Multiple dungeons at once. They need to add like a new initiative mechanic that's just a different dungeon. So you can be in multiple at once.
Oh, you can be in 2 dungeons? Oh, so it's like the hallway.
Yeah.
On Spotify, JC Alex 4 numbers says, Mirror, mirror, I throw my opponent's Chrome Mox like a ninja star across the LGS to ask, what dogshit card would you love to put in a deck but can't bring yourself to do it? Theirs is Chaos Moon, which I don't know what that does. Chaos Moon. Oh, so much text, holy. 3 in a red for an enchantment. At the beginning of each upkeep, count the number of permanents. If the number is odd until end of turn, red creatures get +1/+1. And whenever a player taps a mountain for mana, they add an extra red. If the number is even until end of turn, red creatures get -1/-1. And if a player taps a mountain for mana, that mountain produces colorless instead of any other type.
That's quite a
This is
card.
awesome.
I need to leaf through I have my considering cards right here. I'm going to start leafing through them while you guys give yours.
Oh,
Chaos Moon is so awesome.
I got mine. And this is actually a card that I strongly considered putting in a terrible deck I had a while back, and I couldn't because this card was just too bad. Psychic Vortex, which I think we even talked about in
We
the last
did.
episode, which is a 4-mana blue enchantment, cumulative upkeep, draw a card. At the end of each of your turns, sacrifice a land and discard your hand. The art is so good. It's just an eye with a bunch of like swirls and like purple like flower petals writhing around it. It's so good. But oh my God, that end of turn effect is so bad. It's sacrifice a land and discard your hand. Discarding your hand wasn't enough to make this card balanced for Weatherlight or whatever, but I just want to play this goddamn ugly ass eye and flaunt it over my opponents.
I don't know. This is kind of a bad card. I kind of want to put Raging River in a deck because it's confusing and stupid. It's red for an enchantment. Whenever one or more creatures you control attack, each defending player divides all creatures with flying they control into a left and right pile. Then for each attacking creature you control, choose left or right. The creatures can't be blocked this combat except by creatures with flying and creatures in the chosen label.
Yeah.
So if they don't have anything with flying, it just makes your stuff unblockable, right? Which is like fine.
Yeah, one of these silly cards that's like actually easier to describe without rules text.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where it's like your blockers are on the left or right hand side of the river, and you choose where your creatures attack, so they're harder to block.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is interesting. It's especially interesting with Menace, I feel.
Yeah. I mean, it's like reasonable for an aggro deck. I don't know. It's just one of these like stupid cards with a wall of text that I think is goofy. It's like worse than a lot of other red effects that just like make your stuff hard to block. And it's also like an old reserve list card that's like hard to come by. So
Yeah, it's definitely
whatever.
very interesting.
Yeah.
All right. I'm also locking in something I don't believe is a bad card per se, but like it would be bad in the context of my deck. And I've tried it in this deck. It's Tormod style effects in Farrakhan. The only one I still run anymore is Insidious Roots. I had Omzu, Tormod, and the 4-mana enchantment that makes a clue token in addition to the 2/2 body whenever a card leaves your graveyard. And every single one of them I've cut from the deck just because I already make wide boards enough as it is. As much as I love these cards, and they're part of the reason why I built Farrakhan in the first place, it's just like she doesn't need it, I've discovered, to win at all, which is really sad because I really like Tormod.
me too.
I don't see much appeal in Tormod personally, just because I think the payoff of 2/2 zombies kind of
Tapped 2/2 zombies.
tapped
Don't
2/2
be guessing them up.
Yeah. I'm glad you can chime in as the Tormod expert. That payoff just doesn't inspire me a whole lot. I think some of these have better payoffs. Obviously, there's like ones that deal damage or make opponents lose life, which I prefer a bit.
Yeah, the special thing about Tormod though is that it is any card. It's not just creature. Every other one is like it names creature.
For sure.
I love turning Tormod into damage with this is your deck building challenge if you can't get Tormod to work, viewers. I really like Gem Palm Polluter with Tormod, and then you run it with Tortured Existence. So you can cycle the Gem Palm Polluter. It does damage to target player equal to the number of zombies that are on the battlefield total. And then you bring it back with Tortured Existence, and then Tormod makes another black zombie. So for 3 black, you drain for the number of zombies you control, and you keep making zombies. And it's all at instant speed. So it's actually very handy.
Man, I could have also said Master the Way. That one's really bad. It's like 5 mana, draw a card, and then you deal damage equal to the number of cards.
Oh my god. That's like one of the better win cons in Hans's main deck. His Lila deck.
It's 3 blue red for a sorcery, draw a card, and then it deals damage equal to target creature or player equal to the number of cards in your hand.
The best argument against the hybrid mana change is that I love watching Lila players play their dog shit Izzet spells rather than a pile of hybrid bullshit.
Well, they're gonna get those cards, and they're also going to get the hybrid bullshit. I mean, like, I think they're still gonna play the silly Izzet cards.
It's possible.
I played this in a Keranos list, and it was my win con. I used Reweave as my polymorph, so I could polymorph Keranos into Omniscience just for straight control, and then I could manually draw through my deck and then Master the Way the whole table and like add it back to hand with spells. That deck sucked. It was awesome. Somebody mentioned that everybody feels like they're sick every episode. That's because there's 3 of us and I'm like sickly and dying. So
yeah,
it's because I go outside, unlike most of our viewers. No offense, it's just I like to party and stuff, and sometimes you get sick when you do that.
Billy on Spotify asks, Mirror, Mirror, I cast Desolation Angel and sack all my lands to Overgrown Estate to gain a bunch of life to ask, where do you put the Devour mechanic on the list? How do we feel about the Devour mechanic based on our tier list?
This is the one. So let's read Devour for the audience. As this creature comes into play, you may sacrifice any number of creatures. Then this creature comes into play with X +1/+1 counters on it, where times the number of creatures, where X is the Devour number. So if it's Devour 3 and you sacrifice 3 creatures, you get 9 counters on the Devour creature.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be creatures. There is Devour Artifact, Devour Land, Devour Food.
Yeah, so we have gotten Devour before. I really like it on Feaster of Fools, which is Convoke Flying Devour 2. That's a really fun design where you convoke him out with all of your little dorks and then you sack them all to the giant demon who eats them. Like, that's a really fun flavor. I like it on the Jund Dragons. It makes a lot of sense. I would definitely not mind seeing this again, especially with cards that care about counters in some way. Like Famished Worldsire is a perfect example of the Devour mechanic being cool. I think it shouldn't be like a main set thing, maybe, where it's like a whole like shard mechanic like it used to be. But certainly coming back again on a card or two is definitely interesting.
This mechanic's fine. I think the fact that you can do it with things that aren't creatures is nice, but it is very much a mechanic tied to creature tokens. And I don't think we've seen a whole lot of design space explored outside of creature token sacrificing. So I'm kind of ambivalent. It seems fine, but not necessarily that interesting. Good opportunities for some individual cool cards.
Yeah, I like the flavor of a Devour Food is funny, right? You're devouring all the food. It is risky in the sense that you commit a lot of resources into one card, which does make it kind of like a feels bad to play here and there because not so much with like Famished Worldsire, but like with Feaster of Fools, if you're like, tap all my tokens, convoke it out, eat all the tokens, it's a billion, and then you get like Swords to Plowshare, you're like very sad. So,
yeah.
And
And by the way, Con, I don't know what you're talking about with Famished Worldsire not being all eggs in one basket. I have sacked all of my lands to Famished Worldsire multiple times and gotten like 3 lands back.
Play more lands. I'm not putting Famished Worldsire in a deck with less than 50 lands. Like
I do run it in my Kinesso Sea Monsters deck, and I run it alongside Trench Gorger, so there's a lot of anti-synergy there, and it's already a very low land deck to begin with because it's full of cantrips.
Yeah.
So it's a horrible home for it, but it's a giant Leviathan, so it has to be in, of course, naturally.
That makes sense. I guess we should just all finish off with our rating of Devour. What was our tier list from before?
I'm putting it in this, it's 1 through 4, 1 being the best, 4 being the worst, and number 2, which I'm putting it in, is I would not mind it coming back.
Alex?
So,
I'm going to say I would mind, specifically for like anything beyond a single card in a commander set.
All right, so tier 3 mechanic, tier 2 mechanic, and how is it looking for you?
I gotta put it in the same, like, yeah, maybe one card here or there is cute, but like, I don't want this to be a mechanic in a set or anything. It's kind of just whatever.
So overall, we would mind if it came back in a major way.
Yeah, we'd be very pissed off.
I would riot personally.
Yeah, we would white knuckled, slamming my fist to the wall, losing my security deposit.